Today's video is brought to you by Manscaped.com, who a couple of months back we first partnered with, and they brought me into the world of luxury ball shaving. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today we're stepping it up a little. We're bringing the performance package to the party. Now, if you want to talk about the performance package, let's be real. It comes with the Lawnmower 3.0 with LED lights and skin-safe technology. That means you can put this up to your balls and fear not about having any cuts and bruises, which is the last thing anybody wants. I've been there. It even comes with ball deodorants, crop preservers, a special chemical designed to make your balls not smell, which we all know they end up doing regardless of what you want. They've also got a weed whacker, which is a nice nose and ear hair trimmer. I mean, listen, it gets pretty bad up there, and if you're going to take care of your balls, you might as well give yourself the whole performance package. It also comes with the 2.0 shears, which is great for your toes and your nails. And then, ladies and gentlemen, if you get it right now, they give you 2 free gifts: the travel bag and the anti-chafing boxer briefs, which I'm wearing right now, and they actually help a lot. I mean, if you're going to trim your balls the right way, you're going to cover them the right way too. At least I would hope. Now, if you go to manscaped.com today, and you can get 20% off and free international shipping if you use our promo code at manscaped.com. Ladies and gentlemen, don't wait. Your balls and your body, by extension, will definitely thank you. McDonald. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd make this video about maymays, but I am a happy, healthy boy. Now, a couple weeks back, I made a video where I talked about sleeping a week in Minecraft, and then a week before that, I fell asleep in Minecraft. One happy accident turned into an experiment that has actually made my physical health far better than it has ever actually been. I'm more animated, I'm more excited, I'm just ready to go. All right, I'm an excited, happy individual, okay, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't think I can express that anymore. Minecraft literally saved my life, okay? You can use that quotation anywhere you want. You know all those moms and dads on the internet who tell you, "Oh, but video games rot your brain, video games ruin your mind." Well, you can tell them to stick it where the sun don't shine, because video games have actually had a beneficial, healthy effect on me. Now, before we get into this, all right, let me just give you some history. I'm a person with very chronic sleep problems, okay? Like, for me, sleeping is actually a big challenge. I know some of you all will probably watch my videos and they're like, "God, this Indian dude's chubby and boring. I'm gonna pass out." I wish I could do that, okay? I wish I could do that. But for me, sleeping is a very dangerous endeavor because I suffer from very, very, very chronic sleep paralysis. If you don't know what sleep paralysis is basically, it's kind of like being half awake or half asleep. What'll happen is my eyes open, I'll get a very fuzzy view of the world, but my brain will make up for whatever's around my world. Basically, in the worst case scenario, okay, which is something that happens far more often than I ever want to talk or think about, is many times in my sleep, I'll feel a very weird hand go across my neck. And in my mind, all I can think of is my neck is going to snap and I'm going to die right now. It is a very scary feeling, and if you ever wondered why I don't sleep as much sometimes in very previous videos, months back, weeks back, it's because I genuinely am just afraid to sleep, okay? And maybe covering things like Squall is Dead doesn't help. I mean, it's just, that's a scary image. That's actually a haunted gaming video coming out. By the way, for those people who've been with me for years, your ears might have perked up. Yeah, that is actually a haunted gaming in the works. It'll be coming back, boys, let me tell you. But anyways, all asides that, maybe it doesn't help me covering that kind of stuff late at night, but generally I've had sleep problems. Falling asleep in Minecraft makes falling asleep just a much more easier endeavor for me, okay? Ever since I did it in VR, it's just been a far more therapeutic experience all around. Now, what has actually changed in that span? So we have a couple things to cover, okay? This is going to be a lengthier video, so let's get started with part 1, which is upgrading my rig. Now, you might have noticed this was a sponsored video, and I take these sponsored videos whenever we have to cover things that are monetarily dependent, okay? Like videos like this where I have to go out and get some pretty substantial upgrades to my rig. Sponsors help a lot with that because we all know Madam Susan isn't all about us YouTubers. We're like the redheaded stepchildren of this goddamn family. But basically what I did was I went out and I bought myself a full-on PC VR set. Now, for a lot of people who saw those other videos, I was actually using PlayStation VR. I'm not dogging PlayStation VR, but it's incompatible with PC, which is the platform I needed to do this whole experiment on. The only way to get PSVR working on PC is to use applications like Trinus PSVR and like a whole bunch of other third-party applications. Basically, you have to make a weird VR program sandwich with all of of its own abstractions and inaccuracies and latency in order to get that whole thing working. Short and short, it's really not that worth it. PSVR, at the most, as far as my experiences went, has pretty much just allowed me to look around 3D worlds. There was no positional tracking, there was no controls, there was almost nothing. Now, you can fix that, but honestly, the amount of money you spend to get PSVR working on PC, you might as well just buy a PC VR headset. Now, I had a couple options to go out and buy. I could get a WMR, which is a Windows Mixed Reality headset, which didn't really work well for me. I could also go and get a Steam VR headset, which is abnormally expensive. Like, the index is $1,000. That's not super bad when you look at how good the index is, but with an 4 to 8 week ship time, it was just not happening. I was able to pick up an Oculus Rift S locally. Now, I know, you guys are like, wait, isn't this the computer security guy? Why is he getting a Facebook locked VR headset? I know Mark Zuckerberg makes me make a Facebook account, but you know what? That's okay. I run his stuff in a virtual machine. It doesn't matter. Mark isn't going to know anything about what I do. I feed this thing to a VM. It should be just fine. Now, after getting all of this set up, Oculus Rift S was great. It comes with the headset, it came with the two weird circular controllers, which these things really do help, and when we get to part 3 of this video, you can hear all about the other excess VR experiences. This isn't necessarily a VR review, I'm just telling you what I ended up getting. It cost me a couple $100, several $100, no, few $100, like $300-400, and I set it up on my PC within an hour or something, and I was good to go. All I had to do was install the Oculus app, I had to install Steam, and I was ready to go. Now, with Minecraft in this case, a lot of it was also getting shaders and texture packs. Now, in this case, I'm actually using something called SEUS, which is Sonic Ether's Unleashed Shaders, PTGI, which is Path Tracing Global Illumination. This is a version of ray tracing that is made for the Java version of Minecraft. So, all in all, the gameplay requirements I needed was Minecraft on Java, I needed SEUS PTGI, and then I had a texture pack called UMSOA, which made a much more realistic, sort of modern-looking texture pack out there that I was using to help render and give the textures a different asset style. This is all I had to do, okay? Now, there is also the Minecraft Bedrock version, and I'm sure you can get that to work under VR, but there's a problem with that, and it's the fact that it's the fucking Bedrock version of Minecraft. Look, I'm not here to rag on you. If the Bedrock version works for you, go for it, dog. I don't really care. Congratulations, I'm happy for you. But the objective, better way to play Minecraft is Java. It ran better. The actual ray tracing implementation under Java through the SEUS mod actually gave me more frames than NVIDIA's official ray traced version. And it actually, in my opinion, looked better. Now, keyword here was the frame rate. I really needed it. But before we get to that, let's just talk about how I set up my Minecraft world. I built myself a Minecraft mansion, pools and all that kind of stuff. I basically made myself a nice looking house, something that I would like to live in, you know, if I could have this in reality. Something that would probably cost me multiple millions of dollars in reality was able to be basically created under a matter of hours and a couple $100 with a VR headset. Substantially fucking different, okay? Now, I built myself an entire house. I got myself a bedroom. My entire house was basically all about grand vistas and just really letting the lighting speak for itself. I went for a dimmer style at night, something that I would like to walk around without really bleeding into my eyeballs too much, and given the fact that I'm in VR, it helped out a lot. I wanted to get myself a skylight above me, so as I was sleeping, I could open my eyes and look at the sun or just look at the clouds before I passed out, and I could get that same vision looking around. My entire house was a glass house, but it's okay to have a glass house in Minecraft. Nobody else is going to grief you as long as you're on a single player server. Am I right or am I right? Now, with all of that set up, the whole point was to also get frames, right? Which was very important to have. When I built my world and started putting it into VR, in Oculus VR, I faced a problem. Given the fact, compared to PSVR, I had to go with a higher resolution anyways. Higher resolutions means my graphic card has to work twice as fucking hard. Whereas on PSVR, I could look around, move, and I would have a constant, smooth, buttery frame rate. On Oculus Rift SVR, because of the higher resolution, my character world was rendering really slowly. In the captures that I've taken, you might notice that the edges of my screen are black. That's because, as I'm moving around, the graphic card cannot pump enough frames to help the VR. This actually induces severe fucking motion sickness. So I was able to counteract it. Now, how was I able to do that? using something called half-rate resolution rendering. Now, this is something that I did in the Minecraft for a week video, where I actually used this with PSVR. I used in a more aggressive version of this under this Oculus Rift system, and what it basically does is it renders the actual game at a lower resolution than what is actually being sent out. But it uses clever AI and trickery and basically like upscaling methods to make the resolution look as native as it can. And if you're not looking too closely at like all the goofs and gaffes that happen because of it, it pretty much gives you a convincing image anyways. This was able to get me a frame rate to 90, which was all I needed above and beyond to actually run this world in VR. So that was effectively what I had to do. I was able to have ray-traced Minecraft with a good texture pack in full virtual reality. Now, with all of that said, I even was able to increase the render distance, and I was able to get it looking more like reality, if reality was fucking cubed. Now, let me give you something over here, okay? This is where the real benefits came out from. From a sleep paralysis perspective, this is just very, very straight up mathematics. I was able to reduce my sleep paralysis attacks by 85% in the month alone. To remind you, I'm someone that has this shit almost every night. To be able to have it down at a point where for one whole week straight, I did not get one sleep paralysis attack meant that whatever I invested into it, the time, the money, was all but worth it. It was the best fucking sleep of my goddamn life. And I will attest to that till the day I am dead. Now, to the point, I'll give you a quick visual showcase as to how bad the sleep paralysis attacks even gotten, because even when I got the attacks, the effect was severely lessened. So I'm going to do the best I can to just edit together what I had. So I guess the best way to put it is, when I was having my sleep paralysis attacks, the world was effectively just fuzzy. I wasn't able to really see anything. If anything at all, the very center of the vision, the very center of what I was looking at was the only thing that was sharp. The audio around me was obviously very muffled and garbled. It was like I was underwater to an extent. And that was really all that was in the world of Minecraft. That was my sleep paralysis. And I guess the best way to assess it was that I was effectively getting a constant stream of stimulation. Whereas with my regular sleep paralysis, it's really up to my brain to make up the entire world around me. With Minecraft, even though that I was going through a sleep paralysis attack, I was just being fed a constant visual information, one that was unchanging, one that was part of this world that was rendered in front of me, independent of what my brain was doing. And the audio was being fed to me, which was very calm, soothing, relaxing Minecraft music. And I think that ultimately helped me out a lot. And now I think even if I don't sleep with the VR headset on, because of the lack of frequency, and because I'm sleeping properly for once in my goddamn life, I actually feel like sleep paralysis may be a completely lessened affair for me. And I think even if it gets bad, I can reintroduce myself to the world of Minecraft. See, sleeping in Minecraft is just a complete therapeutical experience for me whatsoever. Now, part 3 for this video is actually changing the way I play video games too. Now that I've slept in Minecraft, I realized that entering into virtual reality made me play the game differently as well. For instance, features like farming, features like dungeoneering or crafting for ores or doing anything got so much more intense. What virtual reality does is it adds proper scale to the environment around you, and it's something that I'll never be able to show you in a video unless it's a VR viewable video. And you have to have a VR headset too. Let me explain why. If you play the game in pancake mode, which is basically having it displayed on a flat screen like you would play it regularly on PC or console anyways, the game doesn't really do a good way of conveying depth as a VR headset would do. For instance, you could build yourself this mansion, right? If I was to look up in the gameplay, it may not look that tall. It'll be tall, but it won't look as tall as it really should. Slapping on a VR headset puts you in the viewpoint of an actual human being. In my case, I'm 6'2", so to be able to go into my Minecraft house as a 6'2" character and look straight up at a very, very realistic reinterpretation based on height and width of the world in VR made it so that I was actually inside a mansion with a super tall ceiling. That added to depth. Looking over a railway down to the first floor actually felt like I was in a real house looking from the second floor to the first floor. And it changes the way that I played the game. For instance, going into a dungeon was just so much more intense. It wasn't a matter of me crafting for ores or finding iron ore or diamond ore. Half the fun of dungeoneering came from finding large chasms, looking down and having my fear of heights invoked within me, looking at lava walls spewing out, looking at the world around me, reinterpret it as it was actually meant to be. It was like entering a different dimension, so to speak, right? Like some real fucking Sword Art Online shit. Now, the other thing that came out with it was other various games. Given the fact that we are in lockdown right now, going around to multiple parts of the city in reality may not be something that's so easy for people to do, right? I know a lot of people are scared shitless of COVID, and they probably have a reason to as well. I mean, it's a scary world we live in. And maybe they have other people in the family they don't want to risk to any sort of unwanted exposure for this fucking pandemic. So they stay inside for most of the time. For me, that's kind of my reality too. I have family members, people that are older than 50, 55, that I have to come in contact with, and I would feel very, very guilty if I caused them to have an attack of COVID. Now, with that said, I still like to take in the sights of a city. Now, Grand Theft Auto 5 is a game that has a very, very realistic reinterpretation of the city of Los Angeles. In fact, it's probably been one of the best simulations I've seen, period. Now, GTA 5 has a mod called Real, which is a VR mod. And it's a fully playable VR mod, meaning that you can start the single player and finish it 100% in fucking VR if you wanted to. In fact, it's something that I'm actually doing right now. But with it, I was able to go into the city of Los Santos, get into a car, an Infernus, an actual car. I was able to sit and look at this car as if it was an actual vehicle, meaning that if I looked to my right, that seat was as far as me as it would normally be in reality. I was able to drive around the city. I was able to walk around the city as if I was actually there. Hell, I've seen so many details in a game that I put thousands of hours into with a brand new perspective, quite literally. And it really did change the way I played the game. I wasn't even playing the game. I was in a fucking vacation period. And that was probably something that blew my mind. Now, other games that I played were Half-Life Alyx, because, that was a de facto VR game you have to get. And again, the sense of scale and depth and how much you interact with the world really did, again, change the way that I played. From the little I put into it, I can already say it's kind of like a game of the year for me. It just really changes the way you get into it. Games like Elite Dangerous are just so much more fucking immersive, because now you're not just staring at a monitor that has you sitting in the fucking, pilot seat for a massive super ship. You're actually sitting in it yourself, looking around the world. It goes beyond just control and perspective of the world. It really just feels like you have entered a different fucking dimension. Now, I know that I'm going off on a tangent, but going back to the beginning of this, Minecraft is a game that I have consistently slept in for a month. Now, is this something that is going to spawn a video where it says I've slept in Minecraft for a year? Probably not. It's definitely not healthy that I sleep in a VR headset for most of my time. Even with blue light filters and whatnot, it's just not healthy in the long term for my eyeballs and everything. And I don't want to make it a dependency, if that's, if that makes sense. So for me, the best way to tackle this is I'm going to do it maybe for a couple more weeks, and I'm going to try sleeping cold turkey without Minecraft. And if I can keep my sleep paralysis away, then I can definitely say that Minecraft VR sleeping has, without a shadow of a doubt, made my life better, saved my life, probably added years to my life as well too. So yeah, I can probably just say video games had one of the most positive effects on me as well. So ladies and gentlemen, this is it. And like last time I covered this, I was promising you something more wholesome than Pee Wee Herman jacking off in a movie theater, and I hope I provided that, ladies and gentlemen. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.